Hello, everyone. Good late morning to all of you, social media friends, new connections. Welcome to today's episode of Real Living in Chicagoland. And by the way, we're shooting this episode live. It's being live streamed to some of you who may be watching this real time. This is our last episode as we wrap up 2023. And as part of what you're seeing, at least from me today, by the way, my name is Bill, of course. What you're seeing from me today is a little bit of a change environment. Some of you who have watched previous episodes have realized that I'm a big fan of using virtual backgrounds. I love using them. It's kind of like swapping out cell phone covers. But right now, today, in this episode, you can see that I'm going all natural. However, a little twist. If you're looking at my background, I am transforming my virtual studio, AKA, it's really my home office. And so what I've started doing right now is, if you look in the back behind me, I've got this cool lighting shit going on. If you love it, drop a comment. If you don't, drop a comment, but be somewhat kind, please. But I am open to hearing your feedback, okay? And as we go into 2024, you'll see how my virtual studio, AKA home office, will get transformed right in front of your eyes. So with that said, without further ado, let me bring in Stewart Ramirez, my co-host for this podcast series. Let's bring him in and let's plow through the conversation that matters to you today and, of course, to us. Stewart, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you, Bill? How's it going?
I'm doing well. Hey, by the way, thank you for sharing your time with me, your audience, my audience. And I say this part humor, part serious. This time of the year, Stewart, you know this and I know this. In this crazy business that we're in, we're trying to get everything done before the holidays, right?
For sure. As everybody.
Right. And what I mean, audience members, we're trying to get things done. It's not what you just are thinking, which is, going out there buying gifts, dropping off gifts, going to parties, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we have to do all of that, just like all of you regular people. But guess what Stewart and I have to do? We have to be laser focused to make sure we get our clients, sellers and buyers to their outcome, to their next chapter, usually before the holidays. Right on, Stewart?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and there's certain things that people don't think about that we as salespeople and people that are commission-based income earners, we have to literally think about what's our plan for next year? Where are we going? What are we doing? What are we going to do different? What about, like, as we're experiencing now, market changes and shifts? How are we preparing for that? You know, what are we going to do? Are we going to be proactive or are we going to be reactive? And then encompassed in all of that is our personal lives, right? And having to make sure that we touch base with friends and family. So it's a tough scenario for our fields.
Yeah, there's not enough time in the day in the clock.
No.
All right. So enough of a casual, warm banter just to get Stewart warmed up. And of course, get myself kind of revved up to move this conversation forward in today's episode of, guess what? Real Living in Chicagoland. Stewart, why don't you lead off with sharing from your perspective, current trends, market update as to what's moving, what's getting done in the business of real estate here in Greater Chicagoland.
So, realistically, what's happening is, a lot of buyers are holding out just because of the interest rates, and they have, wishful thinking that interest rates are going to drop again. They may fluctuate, at least my understanding is they may fluctuate a little bit, half a point, maybe a point and a half, but they're not going to go down to the 3% like they used to be. So once that reality sets in, buyers are going to go back to buying. What that means is we possibly can have a real busy spring or summer once they realize that the interest rates are not dropping.
Right.
So that is a good outlook for spring or summer. But in the meantime, we also have sellers that are thinking the same thing. I should sell now, or I'm not going to sell. They're thinking both of them. Some people think I should sell now because interest rates are going up. Some people think I shouldn't sell because interest rates went up.
Right.
I think from what I'm seeing and what the market is showing as far as new listings, which is down, new listings are down again. This is the third year in a row that they're down compared to the year prior.
Right.
So that being said, with listings being down, buyers are going to have a hard time finding what they want once they really do decide to buy, which could cause an increase in pricing once again. So now you add the increase in pricing along with the increase in interest rates. It's going to be tougher to buy those nice homes that people were buying, 2-3 years ago, really happy with the beautiful remodeled home and overpaying 20, 30,000, 40,000 over list price. And that was okay. I don't see that happening this next upcoming year. I don't see the war for properties. I do see people competing, but I honestly think they're going to be more realistic and they're going to hold back. And part of it will be because they just can't do it, right?
Right.
3 years ago, $40,000 at 3% wasn't that big of a deal, but $40,000 at 5-6% is a big deal. So that it's gonna make a difference, and a lot of people are not going to be able to do that. So it's a toss up. It really is a toss up on whether or not we're going to go way up in pricing. If there's going to be the wars, I don't think there are. I think a lot of the people who are listing their houses as is, in mediocre condition, those houses are going to start selling. Those houses are going to start selling. Whereas in the past 2-3 years, those houses were not selling. Those houses were getting blown out of the water, losing money, in fact, because the nice houses were selling like hotcakes.
That's right. That's right. That's good to know, Stewart. It's great to know. And what I think I'm hearing, taking away, is we may be at least on the track to get to a more balanced market. That's always good for both sides, right? It's good to hear from you that the as-is homes are going to sell. Why? Because life happens. I mean, sometimes sellers, they need to move to the next chapter of their lives. They don't want to spend more time and money to fix it up or whatever the case is. They're just going to say, Stewart, help me get this done.
Right.
And you and I both know when that property, that product, as this home needs to get sold, you still work your mojo the same way. You still give that seller client all of the attention and more that they deserve. Now, on the buy side, right, there's solutions to help those buyers. Some of you exist. I know you exist out there. Some of you exist out there that's looking for that fixer-upper, where you want to put your fingerprint on it. And guess what? There's a solution for you. You can buy that as is home. You can borrow the money, as much of it as it makes sense that you qualify for, so that you can roll the cost of that renovation into that as is home, put your fingerprint on it to make it just your own. And by the way, if you don't know how to do this, if you don't think you understand how to do this, that's why Stewart and I share our time together to drop this content, share what we know. Why? Because it just might motivate you to pick up the phone and call us. And by the way, how can you get a hold of us? We'll share that information with you a little bit later on. And by the way, Stewart, I'm going to come back to what you just said, which is inventory, because based on what I know about your business, you also have a great solution for that as well, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's now move the conversation to kind of a transforming topic. So I have learned, and that is how are buyers going forward in time going to pay for the services rendered by their exclusive buyer's broker. And Stewart, I'm so glad to have you kind of share your perspective on this. Why? Because you're a managing broker and owner of your brokerage. You lead a team of your associates. So speaking as a leader, what's your take on this dilemma, this topic of, who pays for the buyer's agency and representation?
Well, the reality is it's all semantics, and like many lawsuits, it comes down to semantics,
Right.
And whether or not something was said properly or presented properly. At the end of the day, just like closing costs, there are many people who believe closing costs are paid by the seller.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you don't ask for closing costs, then that is, in theory, less money you would pay for the house.
Right.
And that's usually how I explain it to my buyers. If you ask for closing costs, then let's just say it's $5,000. That's $5,000 less that you could have asked for the house. So if you buy the house for $200,000, you could have bought the house for $195 because the seller has to come out of pocket with $5,000. So in essence, the buyer is paying it. And it's the same thing with commission.
Right.
It really is. You could buy, if the seller doesn't pay the commission, you could buy their house for, 2.5% cheaper because you're going to pay the commission.
True.
If the seller's paying the commission, you're going to buy the house for 2.5% higher because the seller's paying the commission. So it really is just semantics and how you look at it. As far as our industry and real estate agents, it really just comes down to explaining to your client, one way or another, the money is coming out of the deal. It's coming out of the transaction.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who says they are or they aren't paying for it. It's going to come out of the transaction. So it's a matter of just discussing with the lender or the list agent, hey, the buyer doesn't have separate money for commission if the seller's not paying commission. So we need to come to an agreed price and then add the commission to that and make sure the lender knows, or just write the contract with the commission added to it so that the seller knows. And that's what it comes down to. So it's the same thing. The difference is we now have to discuss it in advance, in the open, letting everyone know this is what we're doing, even though it always was that way.
I love how you just explained that. And it's pretty clear to me, you as a leader of your business and coaching, mentoring the associates that, are in the boat rowing with you to serve more clients and to, of course, get compensated for services rendered. It's clear to me you put enough thought into how to move this conversation forward with sellers and or buyers. And
right.
And I'm in full agreement with you. At the end of the day, right now, what's most important, and this part of what I'm about to say is for all of you brokers out there, it's up to you to have a clear, consistent communication with your clients. Be very transparent. And a pet peeve, Stewart, I'll share with you. Maybe you've heard this as well by some anonymous broker peers, which love saying something like this: my services are free to you, buyer John Doe. And my answer is, no, you don't do something for free. Come on, right?
Right.
So be transparent. Absolutely. Right on, brother. So let's now move to, I know this topic just jazzes you up. And this goes back to how we started today's conversation, which is the inventory problem. So Stewart, in your opinion, from your experience, because you are able to solve the inventory problem for your clients, and that is you sell the dream, the new construction home, the home that's never been lived in, new paint smell, plastic everywhere, no one's cooked in the kitchen. How is that different than buying an existing home? Let's start with answering that question for potential buyers.
Well, for potential buyers, the only, and I want to say only real drawback is that you have to wait for your home to be ready.
That's right.
And that's it. Other than that, and in some cases, rare, super rare, there are homes that are ready to deliver, but it's rare. It's usually a case of you have to order it and you have to build it. You have to pick your colors, you have to pick your tile, you have to pick your, type of kitchen and stuff like that.
Right.
But the great part of it all is you know what you're getting, you know what you're ordering. You're ordering to customize for your own sake, and you're not competing. You're not sitting there competing on multiple offers and inspections and doing all these things that you have to do in order to get the home. You're getting it built, you know what you're getting. And, yes, you should still do an inspection, but most of the time, most builders know all the current codes, are doing the right things, and there's very few wrong with a new construction house. Very few things wrong with a new construction house. So you're usually pretty safe and don't have to worry about too much. That's not to say that, things don't go wrong. Things do go wrong. Everybody's human. A certain contractor, just took his eye off the ball and messed something up, and the inspector catches it. And that's okay. And that's fine. It's easily repaired, but at least it's not something like, some hidden source of termites or, things of that nature that you get in the older homes, or, bad foundation, things of that. Usually everything is fine. Even if there's a foundation issue on new construction, which isn't unheard of, it has happened. They have a 10-year warranty. So, that in of itself is a nice plus there. Most builders give a 1 or 2 year full warranty, but what we call in the car industry, bumper to bumper, right? Everything's covered for the first year.
Yeah.
But your windows usually have a 10-year warranty. Your appliances usually have a 10-year warranty, or 5-year with some manufacturers. It depends. So those things are all, real nice, and you don't have to worry too much about it. So the only thing is just waiting a little bit, but you're getting what you want, you're getting what you like, and that's really super important. And you don't have to fight for it and pray that you win it.
Yeah. And by the way, Stewart, who doesn't love new paint smell? It's like new car.
Oh, yeah. Right. Like new car smell. Exactly. Yeah. Who doesn't love that? Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. On the same topic, Stewart shared with all of you who are watching today's episode, the only downside might be you have to wait. You have to have a little bit of patience. But you know what, Stewart? I'm going to throw a twist into that statement, because this is all about you and how you help and serve those sellers. So here's the beautiful part. Wouldn't you agree there are some buyers who may be selling to buy a new construction home? Well, guess what? Sometimes waiting is not a big deal, because they need to sell that current home to do the deal with you on the new construction one. So time sometimes, pardon the pun, has its advantages.
Yeah, for sure. And, there are a lot more builders today that are accepting what we call a home sale or home close contingency. Really? So they're more understanding of it, especially in this market where they know houses are on demand. They know your house is going to sell. They'll make sure and ask or talk to your realtor and find out what you're selling it for, to make sure you're realistic. But they know your house is going to sell because there's not enough inventory. So that's even more reason why they're willing to accept a home sale, home close contingency, because they know it's going to sell.
Yeah. And let me pivot for a minute or two. For those of you who may be watching, for those of you who may know within your orbit, your circle of friends, who is a local custom builder, with what Stewart just dropped, here's my call to action and request. If you're looking for a real estate broker with a team of resources, with a lot of experience to help you sell your custom development in and within Chicagoland, please reach out to Stewart. Reach out to both of us. We'd be glad to put our combined resources, and as smart as we are, I like to think, we can help you get it done, right, Mr. Builder?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely can, get it done in every way, giving you good advice. For example, there are a lot of realtors who don't remind their clients to get an inspection on new construction. I always do. I always remind people it's new construction, but there's people behind the new construction, and we are all human. We all make mistakes.
Right, right. So, Stewart, as we wrap up our last episode, not forever, just the last one for 2023, here's what I'm going to tease you with. You're going to love this one. I have been, just like you, busy with, of course, the shopping stuff. But like you, I have my Jody, right?
Yeah.
So I can focus on just one or two things I need to worry about. So teasing you and teasing our audience today, what's going to come in 2024 in our upcoming episodes of Real Living in Chicagoland. Do know this, everyone. Stewart, you're going to love this. I have a bench, a stable already of upcoming guests who will pop into the conversation with us so that you and I, buddy, we're going to share even more interesting topics and contents with our seller, buyer clients. And by the way, if you're not selling and buying with us, well, you can still benefit from this content as well. Why? Because someone you know within your orbit and circle of friends needs you to maybe get us in contact with each other. How's that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So as we wrap up, how can you get in touch with us? If you need our help today, real simple. Scan the QR codes that you see here. Stewart and or myself will gladly pick up the phone, start that conversation, put together a plan as to how we can help you achieve the outcome that you want as soon as possible. So, Stewart, once again, thank you for sharing your time with me. We're all busy. Say hello to Jody for me and your furry family members. They get to benefit from holidays as well.
Oh, yeah, they do. Jody takes really good care of the dogs. Sometimes I think they get better Christmas gifts than I do.
Yeah, if I were to come back in another life, Stewart, I would want to be one of your furry family members with what I see on your social posts.
Yeah, they're well taken care of.
They'll get a lot of toys and treats, right? Holiday time.
Oh yeah, for sure they do.
So everyone, thank you for tuning in today. Until we see each other, starting off in early 2024. Happy holidays. Be safe. Eat a lot, drink a lot, right? Maybe. And we'll see all of you very soon. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Bill.